This is the Ramana Maharshi 40 Verses on Reality Satsang, a time for self-reflection and self-inquiry. Know yourself and be always free and at peace. I'm Richard Clarke, hosting this satsang. Welcome. I'm a seeker like you, sharing what we love. I've been blessed with years of deep teaching and practice. I bring this to this satsang. This week's reading from 40 Verses on Reality is verse 17. Ramana says, to those who have not realized the self, as well as to those who have, the word I refers to the body, but with this difference, that for those who have not realized the I is confined to the body, whereas for those who have realized the self within the body, the I shines as the limitless self. The body and the world are really part of the same idea. You see yourself as a body, then the body exists in the world. If you see a world, then a body is within it. But if you see yourself as you truly are, the illimitable self, then the body exists within you. The world exists within you. You are existence itself. Ramana Maharshi said the misidentification with the body is the greatest misidentification that most people have. How can you break through this? An important way is with discrimination. In Advaita Vedanta, discrimination is separating the real from the unreal through the understanding of the knower and the known, and by understanding what is permanent, what is always, and what is temporary, what comes and goes. Who you are is the knower, not the known. Who you are is always. It does not come and go. In an ancient text, Drigdrishya Viveka, discrimination between the seer and the seen, commonly attributed to Adi Shankara, the first verse, the form is perceived and the I is its perceiver. The I is perceived and the mind is its perceiver. The mind with its modifications is perceived, and the witness, the self, is verily the perceiver. But the witness, is not perceived by any other. The view of knower and the known includes the subject and the object, and the seer and the seen. These are different ways of approach to the discrimination. They are different ways of saying the same thing. Everything that I senses or conceives is known. Who or what knows? Who is the knower? Can you ever find the knower within the known? Or is the knower that which has been called the unknown knower of all the known? All I experience is objective to me. Who is the subject? For all that is seen, there is a seer. Who is the seer? All of these discriminations direct your attention within. To discriminate in this way about the body, you can investigate questions like, who knows the body? Does the body know itself? You can drill down and ask things like, who knows this finger? Does the finger know itself? This discrimination for most people is not just something you can think of one time, but rather something that needs to be done again and again, deeper and deeper. It needs to move from mental idea to mental conviction to direct experience. To discriminate the permanent from the temporary, just notice that everything in your world changes, but something knows all these changing things, but itself never changes. When you inquire, you will see that always there is this unchanging consciousness that sees, that knows all that is changing. And when you ask, who am I? You start to see, then directly experience that you must be, that you are this unchanging being, this ever-present consciousness. After you can discriminate what is real about your body, who is the knower of this body, you can then apply this same approach to the life force that animates the body, the mind full of thoughts, the intellect that forms your internal world from your senses and thoughts and conditioning and tendencies. You can even discriminate the blankness, the emptiness that you find when thoughts cease. This blankness is known. Who knows this? Who am I? And now to our videos for the week. First is Swami Sarvapriyananda, and so he talks about, this is an excerpt from a longer talk on the seer and the seen.
Om, peace, peace, peace. Vedanta tells us that what exists is an unbroken ocean of existence, consciousness, bliss, being, consciousness, bliss. But the thing is, that's not how we experience life. How do we experience life? We experience life as I. And what am I? Body and mind. And this. What is this? People and plants and animals and oceans and stars and planets. This is what I experience life as. All of us experience life as subject and object. Where is this unbroken ocean of being and consciousness and bliss? Vedanta says, makes the bold claim that it's right here. What you perceive, what we perceive as I and this, subject and object, is actually this unbroken notion of existence, consciousness, bliss, but covered by a network of names and forms. It's not as difficult as it sounds. It's like looking at the ocean and saying that, what do you mean it's endless water? I just see lots of waves and surf and spray. Where is the water in this? It's exactly like that. Your vision is going to the names and forms, waves and surf and so on. But the constituent material, the substance, the reality there is the water. Right, just like that, right here, within us and outside us, there is that one unbroken reality. Now, because of the veiling power of Maya, we are unable to see this fact. About ocean and waves and water, it's easy. You know what is water and you know what's a wave. You can make the distinction very clearly. About gold and ornaments, you know what's gold and what's a necklace, and you can make the distinction very clearly. But about Brahman and the world, that's where the problem is. We know what the world is, but what's Brahman here? In our experience, right now, where is Brahman? Looking inwards, the way to overcome or cut through the veiling power of Maya, how do you find Brahman within? That was the method. The method that was given was the method of the seer and the seen. That's what we did in the first verse. Now the question comes, how do I see Brahman outside? How do I see Brahman in every being? It's a bold question. The question is, what is being asked is nothing less than, how do I see God with open eyes? Verse simple, but in its profundity, it's breathtaking in the boldness of its claim. It points out Brahman to you, it points out God to you here in this world right now, straight away to you, it points it out. How does it do that? It says, in every experience that we have of the world, in every experience, there are 5 factors. 3 of them point to Brahman, 2 of them are part of the world. 3 of them belong to the screen, 2 of them are the pictures. What are these 5 factors? Existence. Asti. Things exist here. This bottle exists. This body exists. Body is. Man is. Woman is. The hall is. The sky is. The ocean is. The cat is. Isness. And we feel it. We feel it all the time. We feel it all the time. Things, they are. They exist. Concentrate for a moment on the sense of being, isness. That's one factor. Whenever we experience anything, we experience it together with isness, being. The second thing is, it's not a dark and dull being. It reveals itself to us. Look around. The world shines forth. Look, the world, it's shining forth. You see it. You hear it. You smell it. You taste it. You touch it. Thoughts shine forth. Everything shines forth to us. Bhati. We experience the isness. There is an experience to it. There is shining forth. Bhati means shining forth. It appears to us. We can experience it. And the third one is priyam. It is joyful. It's bliss. You might raise a flag here. Not everything is bliss. And there are things which are unpleasant and miserable. So we'll just bracket that and keep it aside for a while. We'll understand it later. But basically, 3 factors in every experience. You get isness, awareness, and bliss. How that bliss comes, I'll tell you later. And 2 more factors. Rupa. Rupa means form. Things have a form. This bottle has a particular form. This cloth has a particular form. Things which you look around, everything has its distinct form. These forms are the pictures on the screen. They are the pictures, forms. And everything has a concept associated with it, which is called Nama, name. So we look at the form and we say, and the form need not be visual only. It can be auditory. Sound has a form. Taste has a form. Smell has a, touch has a form. All of them. Every experience has a distinct form, which sets it apart from every other experience. So forms and associated concepts called names, nama. So here is a form, bottle, and then the name is bottle. It's a form, you can see it, and its name is bottle. But also it is, and it shines forth, and it's blissful in a particular way. I'll tell you that. Now, here is the point. Adyatrayam Brahmarupam. The first three are Brahman. Isness, awareness or shining forth, and bliss. And these all, they're not exactly Brahman, but they point to Brahman. Where? In our experience. Jagat Rupam Tato Dvayam. The other two, names and forms, are the world. They are the picture. Isness, shining forth, bliss are the screen. And names and forms are the pictures. Now this enables us to distinguish in our example the difference between the world and Brahman. Right now, when we look at the world, focus on the isness, you're focusing on Brahman. Focus on the name and form, man, woman, cat, tree, sky, earth, then you're focusing on the picture, on the world. Notice one thing. The isness continues. Just like water in the ocean, thousands of waves, each wave different from the other, but the constituent water is one and the same, unbroken all throughout. In the same way, can you look at all these people and the chairs you're sitting on in the hall as waves in an ocean? And what's like the water? Existence. An ocean of being here. An ocean of existence here. And the existence itself appears in different names and forms. So they are like, here's an ocean of existence, and all of these people, all of these chairs, and whatever, all the objects are like waves in this ocean. What's like the water? The isness, the shining forthness, and the bliss. So here in our experience, you find 5 factors. So this analysis into 5 factors is pretty well known in Vedanta. Asti, bhati, priyam, rupa, nama. Asti is isness, bhati is shining forth, awareness, and bliss, priyam is bliss or happiness, and then rupa, forms, nama, names. Notice, asti, bhati, priyam continues, or at least for the time being, you can say asti and bhati, isness and shining forthness are found in every experience. Names and forms change from experience to experience. From person to person, when you go, forms are different, names are different. But isness, yes, there is isness here, there is isness there, there is isness there. Isness is common, existence is common everywhere. This unbroken, unchanging ocean of existence, that is Brahman. This unbroken, unchanging ocean of shining forth here, this is Brahman. And the bliss, I will speak about it, that is Brahman. But the differences which constitute the differences, names and forms, that is the world, that is Jagat. Notice how the differences come and go. Names and forms change. The body changes its form. The world changes. The seasons change. The color of the sky changes from day and night. All of these objects, names and forms are changing. But the isness does not change. The unchanging isness, awareness, bliss is Brahman. And it's available to us right now, all the time.
Next is my teacher, Nome, and Nome talks about happiness, reality, identity.
How could you, being happiness itself, ever be unhappy? How could you, the reality itself, absolute existence, whichever is, ever cease to be? How could you, of the nature of the self, which is being consciousness bliss, ever be another, something different from your nature? Such is only because of ignorance, which takes the form of misidentification. From the confusion regarding identity comes confusion regarding reality and happiness. If you are not the body, then there will be no unhappiness regarding being the performer of action, the condition or state of the body, its qualities, its attributes, its sensations. If you know that you are not the mind, then you remain undefined by any thought ever conceived. If there is the realization that you are not the ego, then the very root of unhappiness, of the confusion regarding what is real and what is not, the very root of mistaken impressions regarding your identity is absent. Happiness, reality or existence, and identity, that is your true self, are one and the same thing. find happiness that is unconditional, uncaused, and perpetual. Know yourself. To know reality, know yourself. For your view of yourself will invariably become involved in your view of what exists. To know yourself, deeply inquire, as Sri Bhagavan advises, who am I? And with an introspection that is non-objective in nature, being will know itself as it is. How could being ever cease? It is unborn and imperishable. It is not to be misidentified with the ego, with the mind, with the body, or with anything of this world. How could consciousness, which is of the very nature of supreme knowledge, entertain any ignorance or illusion? By realizing your nature, you find the knowledge, the wisdom that is innate. And it is eternal. How could bliss, Ananda, ever suffer? The bliss of your true self is immortal. To find that supreme happiness or peace that is neither given nor taken away, neither created nor destroyed. Know yourself. Question yourself and abandon the tendency to misidentify yourself with anything that actually you are not, such as all that is transitory, all that is objective, all that is differentiated. Turn within and find yourself to be that which is infinite, eternal, stateless, partless, beginningless, endless. If your experience appears to be in any way otherwise, inquire more deeply. Who am I? Where the notion of an embodied individuality subsides, the truth shines.
Now we'll take a few minutes to meditate, to inquire. Breathe in and breathe out with long, slow breaths. Notice the breath as it comes in, as it goes out. And notice that you exist. You exist and you know that you exist. And now investigate within yourself. When you see the consciousness within, who sees this? Is it something or someone else? Or does consciousness know itself? What is always? And what just comes and goes? Can you be anything that comes and goes? Do you come and go? Who am I? All right. Let's close with a short chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for letting me share this teaching with you. This series on Ramana's 40 verses on reality will continue in the following weeks. If this satsang was of interest, I have more for you: a free book site, a YouTube site, and my blog. The URLs will be on screen next.